The year 1965 marks a turning point in the history of the United States quarter-dollar coin. For collectors, historians, and everyday Americans, the 1965 quarter represents the moment when tradition gave way to necessity. This was the first circulating quarter in U.S. history made without silver, ending a precious metal legacy that had lasted more than 170 years. To understand why the 1965 quarter is so important, we must first look at the coin it continued, the famous Washington quarter. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington, the Washington quarter replaced the standing Liberty design and quickly became a permanent fixture in American commerce. The obverse features Washington's left-facing portrait, while the reverse shows a heraldic eagle with spread wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbols of strength and peace. By the early 1960s, however, the United States was facing a serious coin shortage. Silver prices were rising rapidly due to global demand, industrial use, and speculation. The intrinsic value of the silver in coins was approaching, and sometimes exceeding, their face value. People began hoarding silver coins, removing them from circulation in anticipation that their metal content would soon be worth more than 25 cents. This created a nationwide crisis. Vending machines jammed, businesses struggled to make change, and banks ran low on coins. The government needed a solution, and fast. In 1965, Congress passed the historic Coinage Act of 1965, fundamentally changing American coinage. The act eliminated silver from circulating dimes and quarters and reduced the silver content in half dollars. The new quarter would instead be made from a copper-nickel clad composition, an inner core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gave the coin its familiar silvery appearance while drastically reducing production costs and removing the incentive to hoard. Production of the new coins was overseen by the United States Mint, which faced enormous pressure to produce billions of coins quickly. To discourage collectors from hoarding the new issues, the Mint made an unusual decision. From 1965 through 1967, no mint marks would appear on coins. Traditionally, mint marks identified where a coin was produced, such as Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, but removing them made coins less attractive to collectors seeking rare varieties. As a result, all 1965 quarters appear identical regardless of where they were minted. In reality, they were struck in multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, with additional assistance from San Francisco to meet overwhelming demand. The public reaction to the new coins was mixed. Many Americans initially distrusted the clad composition, believing the coins looked dull compared to the bright shine of silver. Others worried the new coins would not last as long. Over time, however, the copper-nickel quarters proved durable and practical, and they remain in use today more than half a century later. From a design standpoint, the 1965 quarter kept the classic look of earlier Washington quarters. On the obverse, Washington's portrait is accompanied by the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1965. On the reverse, the eagle design by John Flanagan remained unchanged until 1998, when the state quarters program began. Although the 1965 quarter is common, it still holds special interest for collectors. It represents the beginning of the modern era of U.S. coinage, the transition from precious metal coins to base metal circulation coins. Some collectors search for high-grade examples with sharp details and minimal wear, while others look for rare errors such as double dies or off-center strikes. One fascinating aspect is that a small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These rare transitional errors contain 90% silver and are extremely valuable today, sometimes selling for thousands of dollars at auction. Finding one in circulation would be like discovering hidden treasure. The 1965 quarter also symbolizes a broader economic shift. The removal of silver reflected changing realities in the global economy, where precious metals could no longer sustain everyday coinage. Similar transitions occurred in other countries around the world, making the U.S. decision part of a larger international trend. Today, the 1965 Washington quarter continues to circulate widely across the United States. Most people handle these coins daily without realizing they hold a piece of history in their hands, a coin born from crisis, innovation, and adaptation. For coin collectors and history enthusiasts, the 1965 quarter tells a powerful story. It reminds us that even small objects can reflect major changes in society, economics, and technology. From the silver shortages of the 1960s to the modern digital economy, this humble coin connects generations of Americans through everyday transactions. So the next time you find a 1965 quarter in your pocket or coin jar, take a closer look. You're not just holding 25 cents, you're holding the first chapter of modern American coinage, a symbol of how a nation adapted to changing times while preserving the image of its founding president.